Google, among other things, like I said, we talk about drowning out. The half of the most of the world was focused in on the MacBook event that was this week, but Google also announced their Google Pixel 6 and Google Pixel 6 Pro. They've got some new colors. They use a dope Google Assistant. They got some real translate features to where, I didn't watch this live. I watched a follow up or a recap via YouTube. Um, the cool things that I saw that I wanted to talk about was the Google Assistant voice with the real translate features. Reason why I thought this was dope was because in their demo they brought on Marie Kondo. That's the
The minimalist
organizing.
lady. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If it doesn't bring you joy, get rid of it, lady. Right.
Mhm.
But she is not English native speaking. She can probably understand it a little bit. She may be able to speak one or two words, but she's Japanese. I think Japanese. Yes.
I
Don't.
think so.
She's Asian. Um, but what they did was they brought her in and they had her sit across from a lady. I'm assuming she was a Google person, and the lady spoke into her Google Pixel in English, and without doing anything, pressing any buttons, switching anything, the Google Voice translated her conversation so Marie Kondo could understand it. And not only that, when it was Marie Kondo's time to speak, she spoke in her normal voice. She didn't go
Mhm.
slow. She
Mhm.
used her dialect. She used her vernacular to actually speak into the phone, and it translated back into English. And I mean, the lady was flabbergasted. She was beside herself in amazement at how well this was able to translate her voice to English and vice versa. Again, without any fumbling around, without
Mhm.
clicking any buttons, without clicking a mic. They just had a normal conversation. The lady in English said something. She waited a second, translated it to English. Marie Kondo heard it. She spoke, took a second, it translated to English, and the lady could understand it. So I thought that was dope. That,
And that I think
go
that's
ahead.
gonna, help with some of a lot of the language barriers that people
Right.
have. Especially, I mean, it can happen in any instance. We talk about COVID, medical stuff, legal stuff. I mean, this could pretty much be a game changer.
Right. And other people do it. Apple has translations. You can do
Hmm.
Google Translate via the web, or you can download Google Translate's app. But it didn't
Hmm.
do it as seamless as this. You
Hmm.
still got to click buttons, and you got
Right.
to in the middle of the conversation. Which if you're trying to talk to somebody from a different language, not necessarily stage fright, but you get nervous,
Hmm.
and time consuming trying to mess around with those buttons. But if you can do it naturally, I thought that was
Hmm.
pretty dope. The
That's
second
cool.
thing, yeah, the second thing that was specific to us that I thought was
Mm-mm.
cool is Google really put some effort into this new feature called Real Tone. And basically, the camera is tuned specifically to work well with darker skin tones. And they didn't just say darker skin tones. They said African Americans, and they this
Nice.
whole in this video they did this interview where they kind of took some pictures from older or previous generation devices, and they had black folks look at the actual videos, and they like did their feedback. And I thought it was so funny because some of the people, it's like, the pictures is all drowned out, it's all dry, make people look
Mm.
ashy. And I thought that was hilarious.
Because that's what we say. It does make people look ashy. It doesn't show
Right.
our melanin flourishing.
Right. And I thought that was cool because, in this age where companies are trying to pander, cater to, minority voices. I didn't get the impression that Google was trying to do that because, again, with the Ashy comment, they let them talk in their normal voice and their
Mhm.
normal language to where, maybe the person on the camera or the person they were talking to didn't understand Ashy, but you and
Mhm.
I got exactly what they
What
meant
that
by
meant.
that,
And we're the
you know.
target audience, so Black people
Exactly.
understand. Yeah.
Right. So this real tone feature I thought was cool is because, Google went through this presentation and they talked about all the ways that they make sure people of different hues, specifically darker skin tones, this camera does better than any other camera on the market to make sure what I'm looking at when I look at a picture of my wife, of my kids, of my family, of my friends, it looks like them, not
Mhm.
a washed down
Version of
vanilla,
them.
right, picture of them. It's what I see when I look at them. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I definitely wanted to shout them out for taking that extra step versus just saying, like I said, darker skin tones. And then you kind of take that as it is. It's like, no,
Mhm.
specifically, this is for African Americans. This is even for Dominicans. This is for Jamaicans, West Indians,
It's
Native
for Black people
Americans. It's for,
worldwide.
yeah, exactly. So I just want to
Yeah.
do a shout out for that. If you're interested in the Pixel 6, it starts at $600 for the 6, and the 6 Pro starts at $900, and they are pre-order now and shipping next week.